On March 27, 2021, I was listening to music to Squirm 2 when I was recommended a song by an artist going by the name Trolley Cat. The song was titled The Home of 47 and opens as follows.
Proud to be American. I don't like to think hard. I don't care about being smart. You know me as before the other song mentioned. I'm an aforementioned, not a gross.
The lyrics of this song are, quote, similar in vulgarity to that of early-day Tyler, the Creator, with the first 3 lines putting this on full display. While the lyrics themselves don't sound great, and they're pretty crammed into lines at specific points, this song isn't without a message, and certainly isn't without incredible production on behalf of the lyrics, and especially the beat. The 47 in the song title references a chromosomal condition called a trisomy, a condition that causes a person to have a 47th chromosome. The most common variation of this condition is Down syndrome, and in the context of the first and 11th lines of the song, the title labels America as the home of people with Down syndrome. The lyrics make fun of commonly discussed issues in America, mostly aligning with left-wing beliefs such as the problem of police abuse of power and the criticism of former Vice President Mike Pence. On my first listen, I cared little about the message since the lyrics had only decent delivery, but this song instantly became one of my favorites of all time from the production alone. As an amateur producer, I was instantly hooked on this fresh indie fella, so I checked out his second most popular song. This is my favorite song of all time. It's crunchy. The little sample used throughout gives this track so much energy, and the vocals faintly heard in the back add a floating feeling that perfectly accents the grunge. Then after the first beat, it transitions into the same thing, but with a tiny bit of phaser and some auto pan to make this track feel like it truly encompasses you. And when you think it's about to go harder, it transitions into this beautiful yet melancholic arrangement with reverb that now accurately accounts for how this track makes you feel like you're drowning in it. Then the bass lifts you so slightly, transitioning into a louder melody that drops you off into the sound of technology being activated. This song was a single when I first listened to it, though it would become one of the songs adopted into his upcoming first album. But this was a more recent song that was gaining traction. Let's journey back to the beginning of his Spotify releases, to the track directly following The Home of 47 on April 30th, 2020. Quote, Daddy 2017 is about how I wish it was 2017 again. Most lines reference something personal that's happened to me in 2017. Despite all the bad things that have happened, I miss it. This track is Trolley Cat opening up to his audience and finding his voice. The piano melody, accompanied by the bass line and the background of the upbeat drums, invokes the nostalgia Trolley Cat mentions. A time of struggle you can't help but wish to be back in. Despite being released only a month after The Home of 47, the lyrics sound much better, and the beat is much more mellow. Trolley Cat puts a bit of a picture to his name, describing, quote, albino skin, black hair, I got some cataracts, and gives some insight on his past with, quote, nostalgia when I used to be fat, and, quote, I don't fuck with myself, I delete half of my tracks, and you got me called weird, queer, and something else. The song ends with Take Me Back, despite all the struggle, aligning with the statement on it. The shortness of the song and the length of the year looking back coincide. It feels like a tribute to the year, reinforcing its name. I mentioned earlier how The Home of 47 aligned with left-wing beliefs, but this might seem contested in the song following Daddy 2017. Trolley Cat released Cutie Cult Leaders on June 16, 2020, a song that criticizes manipulation's role in socialization, marketing, and politics, specifically on the left. It starts as a jumbled, bubbly mess, converging into a high-energy diss with similar drum distortion to his previous releases. Trolley Cat equates pro-LGBTQ and gun restriction legislation to virtue signaling and selling a product, coming from those that find their belittlement tactics only okay when they do it and their person's superior. This track speaks to American elites and political employees, interrupting to address left-wing activists with lines like, quote, and yeah, I know some of you care, and quote, to them, it's like an art form how they pretend to be with the culture. He strips this demographic of its humanity, especially with a tweet of his mentioning how he's, quote, gonna laugh so fucking hard when Tucker Carlson dies. Cutie Cult Leaders is Trolley Cat's last political bout. He moves on to other topics of his attention, such as Trolley Cat has turned his attention to the wannabes of the music industry. He insults their style and mixing, calls them posers and desperate, and equates himself to the big fish. His composure, along with the beat, starts mellow and turns more passionate and unhinged towards the end. His attention seems directed toward the other small artists that only want to blow up, outcasting them while he relishes his position as a smaller independent artist. I see this track as less a show of ego and more a grouping of these individuals away from what Trolley Cat hopes to accomplish. He's found himself in his art. He doesn't need words to prove this anymore, and ends this track with an abrupt detachment from these other artists, ready to move on to his next project. Cyber Heaven Demo was released on September 2nd, 2021, a project that started as a simple mixtape and turned into something more abstract. Instead of the mesh of ideas this project was meant to be, it turned into Trolley Cat conveying, quote, an experience that makes you feel a certain way. a way drawings and words alone can't. It starts with a chopped sample that is 1, moving on to the eerie and booming 2, next to the high-pitched synth vomit that 3 conveys, transitioning to the bassy 4, penultimately leading into the sinister march of 5, and ending with something different than all the other songs. The song that ends Cyber Heaven demo has lyrics, albeit in the background, but the style is also more polished and open compared to the previous tracks. The reverb and the vocals in the back were akin to the second song that I mentioned. Trolleycat was refining a style that would become The album name Cries from a Computer is perfectly fitting. The emotion it provides is mellow, bordering on sadness for most of the songs. It starts with a sample from One Piece, transitioning into the mechanical whirring and groaning of abruptly crossing into the aforementioned, which drops you off perfectly into a song with a relatively slow beat, floaty vocals, and extended airy chords, accompanied by various mechanical noises of the theme of this album, entering. Then we have, which starts with a melody sounding like sleeping that transitions into the dream that is the song. It's slightly eerie, but groovy, like a good dream, with the emoticon as the song name representing this state. Then we have, which is also very dreamy and airy, leading to starting with the sounds of rain into pleasant sounding repeating notes with a relaxed drum beat, ending with technology overload into a reverberated drum beat with minimal melody and lyrics that fade into meaningless word vomit, and the song ends on a glitch and abrupt halt. Trolleycat feels that he isn't the focus of his songs, and with the mechanical feel to his vocals, he feels as if people only care about the computer as his vessel. The cries of his emotions and experiences are downplayed to that of a random internet entity. The ending of the album, with little complexity left and the vocals fading into something nobody cares about anymore, is the perfect end to the experience Trolleycat relays to his audience. His evolution in conveying a message has transcended words. He delivers feelings through his music that say far more than before. Quote, "I think Cries from a Computer will age well." I think so too, and I look forward to his future projects. Up to this point, I've only analyzed Trolleycat's Spotify releases, as I think this reflects his most polished work. On his Soundcloud, Trolleycat has posted many tracks between those mentioned, and most likely deleted some from before. The track American Breakfast clarifies his stance even further. I would highly recommend you listen to this song, as well as Roost, ASF, Mang and Amber, Tulio and Shell, and MHB. This isn't the full extent of the library of Trolleycat though, as he has a second SoundCloud called Border Bunny. Border Bunny's tracks are either experimental beats, rap beats, or beats with rapping over them. To contrast the two, I would say that Trolleycat expresses his emotions in his music, while Border Bunny is the passion and enjoyment that he gets from making it. The track Dysphotic Zone Freestyle exemplifies this the most. It doesn't have any message, it just slaps hard with production that sounds sick. Trolleycat and Border Bunny are both niche branches of a person behind a computer. Someone's feelings that they want to express in a hobbyist way. Separate identities aren't foreign to this person, but instead of diving deeper, I'm going to widen the scope. Apandah is a YouTuber that combines memes to get a particular point across, or rates memes on the internet. He's well known for his series Funny Cats, the popularization of the Uganda Knuckles meme, and for being a member of the Sleep Deprived podcast. I discovered him recently while looking for podcasts to listen to while working outside of my job, and he's pretty funny and in tune with the culture. He has a SoundCloud called Lil Panda with songs like I Do Not Have Broads in Atlanta. It's only funny rap, but it sounds a little like somebody else. I just can't put my finger on it. He makes some funny tweets, some of them getting him banned, but look at this one. He says that election kind of sounds like erection. Hold on, let me check something. Wait, what the? These two share the same vessel. Don't misinterpret that. They are not the same person, and you should not treat them as such. Trolleycat and Border Bunny are the genuine parts of a real person that wishes to keep them separate from a less serious identity. So, how did these identities come about? Apandah had a popular series called Funny Cats, where he would take photos of cats that he either found or was sent, and review them on his channel. The origin of the name Trolleycat presumably comes from 2 minutes and 55 seconds of Apandah's video Funny Cats 2.
Now the back street, running through the packs like a track meet. Zoom!
Ironically, rapping over a Trolley Cat must have planted the seeds for this to be the name for his rapping SoundCloud. Trolleycat's inception as a separate entity can be attributed to the pressures of Apandah having to make meme content. like Border Bunny being a separation from the expectations to make a more serious project. Many of Trolleycat's lyrics mention people thinking they know him when they don't, which I interpret as a message to those who think of all of him as a panda. Treating all of these parts as one undermines the point of everything he's created. You'd make his cries meaningless. You'd make him into the computer. This is a more serious video than one I might usually make, but that's just because I feel a lot of passion for Trolley Cat and his music. I went into this with many of the thoughts that I addressed in the video, but with more research came more understanding about this person. I want to share Trolley Cat with a broader audience, but I also want him to get attention from people who know how to respect his boundaries. Follow him on all of his platforms, but treat each of them how he would want. This video took a long time to write and create. I would appreciate if you could show even a fraction of the same treatment.